This is episode number 23 of Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. In today's episode, we will be discussing the Fantasmic Dessert and VIP viewing experience inside of Hollywood Studios.
Everything Disney in and out of the house. Two grown-ups and a mouse.
Hi there, I'm AJ.
I'm Andrew.
And you're listening to Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. Today, we are going to be talking about the Fantasmic Dessert and VIP viewing experience at Hollywood Studios. And if you listened to episode number 22, you knew that today's episode, episode number 23, is the second episode this week.
That's right.
We decided to do 2 shorter episodes instead of 1 longer episode, and we are hoping you give us feedback and tell us which you prefer.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, I think we should start talking about it.
No, I think we should wait another 22.3 minutes.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
22.3 seconds, maybe. Minutes? No.
Hours?
No.
Days?
No.
Months?
Anyway, so we already talked about the cookie stroll at the Festival of the Holidays at the Epcot International. See, I wanted to say Food and Wine Festival, but it's not. It's the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays.
That's right.
The cookie stroll. And we actually did the Fantasmic Dessert and VIP viewing experience on the same day.
That's right.
And I was not hungry for my dessert because I was full from the cookie stroll.
That's true.
But let's talk about what this entailed. This was $39 for adults and $19 for children under 9 or 9 and under.
Right.
So we did have a 10-year-old with us, and this 10-year-old was priced as an adult. Which, that's something I'm not crazy that Disney does. I understand there's a different price for a 10-year-old versus a 9-year-old. However, this package came with an alcoholic beverage. And apparently, the 10-year-old is not going to be imbibing in an alcoholic beverage.
No.
So I wish they had a price for 10 to 20. And I understand that, you know, there are plenty of people who don't imbibe regardless, even if they are old enough to drink. And that's what Disney's counter would be if we were to say something to them. But it's just the fact that they're forcing us to pay for something that she's not allowed to have.
Well,
It's different if you choose not to have it, but to not be allowed to have it and yet be charged the same price. That would be my only complaint.
right. I mean, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a weird cutoff where, you know, does a 2-year-old 11 months enjoy the parks any less or more than the 3-year-old that now has to pay $100 to get in?
Right, of course. Like I said, it's not a big complaint, but it's just, you know,
Right.
something to be aware of. So again, it was $39 for 10 and up and $19 for 9 and under. But it wasn't a dessert party, but a fast pass that included dessert.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it.
Yeah. We went to the main entrance for the Fantasmic show and found out that we would be going through the Fast Pass line. They have 2 entrances, Fast Pass and Standby.
Sure.
So we said, we're here for the party. They said, go into the Fast Pass line, which we did. And once we walked in there, we got to not a gate. There were different people kind of checking the Fast Passes, and we said, we're here for the dessert.
Right.
And they pointed us.
Right. Then that's when it splits off to the next, between just normal fast pass versus folks that are having the fireworks the dessert and VIP experience.
Right. So we checked in, and because we prepaid, and we were able to cancel up to 24 hours in advance, but we did prepay. So we checked in, and at check-in, they gave us each a light-up lanyard that said Fantasmic on it. And from there, after we checked in, we all had our lanyards, and the 5 adult lanyards were one color. The child's lanyard was a different color,
right,
to indicate that it was a child's price. We moved to our next stop, which is where we got the packaged food and the beverage. For the adults, we had the choice of alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Of course, for the kids, they only had the choice of non-alcoholic.
Of course.
And would you like to explain what the food was, or would you like me to do that?
No, knock yourself out.
Ah.
I this is the important distinction why we say it's not like a typical dessert party, because it's basically almost like a prepackaged.
Not almost, it is.
Well, it is, but it's not. It's not prepackaged in the sense that the foods were like prepackaged foods, like individually wrapped or anything. I mean, somebody packed it that day, but I mean,
they were fresh foods, fresh
Right.
desserts that were prepared probably that day, but
Oh, I'm sure they were.
but they were packaged so that they could distribute them to the
Right.
people who were going, so that all of these fresh desserts were in one package.
correct.
That, yeah, I can understand why you don't want to say they were prepackaged.
As opposed to, well, yeah, obviously you don't want to say it's prepackaged because it's not that. And then obviously, if you have been around any of the other Disney parks, there's a lot of what they call a dessert party, or I think they even have different names now. And it's not that where it's like a buffet of foods where you go in and pick what you want.
Right. This was not unlimited. This was
Right.
not all you can eat or all you care to eat. This was not that. This was a set amount that was given to you.
Right.
But we were handed a black plastic container with a clear lid, and inside of it was all of the desserts that the event came with. And this was cheese, crackers, and grapes.
Yep.
They were Cars crackers, which to me taste like matzah.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit more dry.
Right.
But they also, in this dessert package, was chocolate covered strawberries, a passion fruit mango macaroons. There were 2 of those.
Right.
Chocolate mousse with crispy pearls and a white chocolate coin.
Mm-hmm.
A chocolate chip brownie. An Evil Queen's apple cake covered with oatmeal crisp. And Ursula's cheesecake with strawberry pearls. So there was a lot of food in this package. And as I already
Right.
said, we had been to Epcot earlier in that day. We had eaten a lot in Epcot earlier that day. So what was great was I did not even open my dessert package from this event. They gave it to us in a bag with silverware and a small bottle of water.
Yep.
And I took that back with us and enjoyed it later
Yeah, basically.
when I was more hungry. So that was really nice that I had the option of eating it. It's very convenient if you wanted to eat it in the Fantasmic seating area.
Right.
But you didn't, it wasn't like you had to eat it because you couldn't do anything with it.
Sure.
So that was really nice. But right after we got the packaged foods, that's where we got the beverages, which came in a light up mug.
Yeah.
So for the $39 for adults or $19 for children 9 and under, you received the lanyard that lit up, a cup that lit up, a lot of food. I mean, it was a nice assortment of food, and Fast Pass seating, making sure you have a nice view for the Fantasmic show.
Well, even as we talked to the cast member, it's even better than the Fast Pass seating because it's front and center.
Correct. They basically broke the stadium because Fantasmic, if you haven't been there, is basically a huge outdoor stadium.
Right.
And they broke it up basically into 3 sections. The center section was for those doing the Fantasmic Dessert and VIP viewing experience. I'm not 100% sure, but they might offer other dessert packages who also would fall into that category and sit in that same seating area.
Well, you have the dining experience. There's a similar to like what they do at Epcot with the concerts and candlelight, where you'll go eat at like say Brown Derby or Sci-Fi or
One of the participating restaurants.
right, and you'll pay for dinner and
Right. So
seating at
right.
Fantasmic.
So they may also have been sat in that same section. And out of the
Probably.
3 sections they separated it into, we were in the center section
right.
because we paid for that Fast Pass. Whereas on one side of this, let's say the left side of the center was the Fast Pass seating area. And on the right side of the center were the standby seating area.
Right.
So we had great seats. We had great dessert. We had a nice little drink. It was nice that you didn't have to enjoy the food there. You had the option of bringing it with you.
Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about Fantasmic for anyone who might not have gone. You had never been before.
I have not.
So now you've gone.
Yep.
What'd you think?
It was a good show.
It was nice. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It is, as we said, it's in stadium seating. It is basically a water show. They do a lot of water projection.
Yeah.
They have some characters, some live characters performing, and they had a couple boats
Right.
and light up boats. So, it's a little eclectic mix there of things.
Well, it's a mix of live action and basically a projected show.
Right. The show isn't too loud. It's not too bad. There is, there's music and everything, but if you are noise sensitive, there are some bangs towards the end. So you might want to bring earplugs or ear protection, or if you have kids and they're noise sensitive, just be prepared because it kind of caught us off guard.
Yeah.
There was a loud bang at the end. While we were waiting for the show to start, we did the wave.
Right.
And that was a lot of fun because, these are all Disney people here. So the majority of people did participate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not you.
No, I was too busy eating.
Right. But it was a lot of fun doing the wave. The show is about 40 minutes. And honestly, the longest part?
Well, yeah, you're saying the longest part's trying to get out, but I mean, what's the best way to explain that? It took a while to get out because they had you going down this big, long, winding path, and it dumped you out right next to the entrance, which I thought was weird because I figured for sure we were going to be dumped out near the front of the park, but...
No, I meant there were just a lot of people all trying to get out. I mean, it was organized. I'm not complaining, but it was just ironic that it seemed like it did not take 40 minutes to get out, but it just, that was probably the longest wait was waiting to get out. That was another benefit of doing the dessert package that, because they say you could show up at 7:00 and the show started at 8, depending on what time you make your reservations for, what time the show is that day. Our show started at 8, so we could have showed up at 7:00. We probably started sitting down at 7:15, between 7:15 and 7:25. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, give or take.
So we had a good 30 minutes to kill.
Right.
So for us, it was nice because the people that were hungry, we had these nice desserts to snack out of. So that was definitely a benefit. It gives you something to do while you're waiting for the show to start.
Right.
And they do sell food and limited souvenirs inside of the stadium. And there are restrooms in the stadium.
Right. Because it is a long way from the main areas of the park. So
that's not the only reason.
Well, they also don't want you to leave and try to come back because they basically close the gates once the show starts. So
yeah, they do make an announcement that they cannot guarantee if you leave that you will be able to get back in.
Right.
You are not guaranteed readmission. It's not that it costs anything. Fantasmic is a free show.
Sure.
The only reason you wouldn't get in is if they didn't have any seats available.
Right.
But because of that, it is a popular show.
Yeah.
And that does happen. But, because they don't want you leaving and they want to be able to count how many people are in there, that's why they do have ample restrooms and ample places to buy refreshments.
Sure.
And like I said, some limited souvenirs.
Yeah.
You could even buy popcorn buckets inside of there, which was really nice. So,
right.
I mean, we could tell you what the show is all about, but
well, it's a version of Fantasmic that's been adapted.
Fantasia.
Or Fantasia.
Yeah, it's called Fantasmic, but yeah, it's very similar to Fantasia, which is where they got the name from. And like we already said, it is a water show. So it is enjoyable. It's good for all ages.
Yep.
There's of course, younger kids might be a little bit scared by it because there are a lot of villains in it.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of like in Fantasia. But it is an enjoyable show. And I think that we both agreed that it was definitely a good value.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all things considered, on the flip side, it was $40 for something that would have otherwise been free.
Right. You can still go to Fantasmic and you can go for free. But considering we did get those keepsakes, we did get the lanyard, we did get the light up cup.
Oh, sure.
Those, we could keep. And we did get an ample amount of food. It was definitely substantial.
No, it was a good amount.
And an alcoholic beverage, which, we're not big drinkers and we could have lived without it. But since we were given it, we did drink it.
Right.
And we enjoyed it. I mean, so considering all you get, if you're looking for a different experience, that was definitely a very cost-friendly experience.
Sure. I mean, compared, especially, I'd mentioned the other dessert parties and stuff, and those are much more money nowadays.
Yeah, they're about $70 each.
Right. because,
take.
I mean, and they have the same thing that, they have alcohol and lots of foods and stuff, but it's obviously quite a bit more money. So,
Well, it's more money, and those are all you care to eat,
right.
typically. So that's the reason they charge more.
Sure.
But in those, we haven't been to one, but we will be going to one towards the beginning of January. So we'll make sure to talk about that after we do that. And then we can actually compare the two.
Right.
I mean, we've gone to plenty of dessert parties before. We've been to one in Epcot a long time ago, like an Illuminations dessert party. We went to the Jingle Ball Jingle Bam.
Yep, at Hollywood
we did
Studios.
that, and we did the Star Wars at Hollywood Studios.
We did do Star Wars.
And we did Wishes, which of course Wishes has been gone for a while, so that gives you
Well, and to go in order, we haven't done the Magic Kingdom dessert party in a long time since they've changed it, because now they have more. Before it used to be strictly just desserts, no alcohol.
right. And
No,
it was all
nothing.
sweet.
Right.
Now they've gotten in adding more sweet and savory, and they've added alcohol, and that's why they charge a little bit more money.
Correct.
But so far as I know, even though they charge more money to those, I don't know that you really get any takeaways the way that we had the takeaways from this dessert experience.
And that's probably a good point, because the most recent ones we've done are the ones at Hollywood Studios, like Jingle Ball, Jingle Bam, and the Star Wars ones, and there was no real keepsake.
Maybe
for
a
those.
lanyard with,
Yeah, maybe,
but nothing, it wasn't a light up lanyard. It might
No.
have just been like a lanyard that said that, Jingle Ball, Jingle Bam.
Right.
So, and they charge more money because of the alcohol and because it's unlimited.
right.
But, some people would prefer to pay less money and have the takeaways, or some people would prefer to pay a little more money and imbibe a little, whatever works for you. Sure. Neither is better than the other. They're just different.
Right.
And like I said,
this was definitely a very good experience.
yeah, we really enjoyed it, but we admittedly haven't been to one of the other dessert events, but we are going in the relatively near future, at which point when we talk about that, we will make sure to kind of compare it to this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all in all, it was really good. Definitely recommend it. It is called the Fantasmic Dessert and VIP Viewing Experience. If you want to look for it on the My Disney Experience app, that is how I booked it.
Right.
I just went online. I booked it with my credit card. Boom. And it says, you're able to cancel up to 24 hours in advance, which is good that they do that. And they do that for a lot of their events and dining because they know that things happen.
Sure.
Plans change. So they're not locking you into it for, a week in advance. They're just saying, hey, give us a little bit of notice. And on that note, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
So before we go, let's just say thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
If you subscribe, thank you for subscribing. And if you don't subscribe,
Please do so.
please, why haven't you? You should. You can listen to us on any of your favorite podcast systems.
Yep.
Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. You can probably find us there.
That's right.
You can also find us on our website
Two grown-ups and a mouse.
or on social media.
Two grown-ups and a mouse.
Well, the website is twogrownupsandamouse.com. Social media is just Two Grownups and a Mouse.
That's right.
But which social media?
All of them.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Not all of them.
That's true.
Most of them.
All the ones that matter.
And on that note, thank you again for listening and good morning.
What about good afternoon?
Well, I thought maybe they're listening in the morning, so I was saying good morning. Good evening.
Good night?
How about goodbye?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.